Hey y'all, happy Monday. We out here, another day, another week, trying to get another dollar. You hear me? So I just dropped off a Instacart. Instacart was slow today, but then it was like a burst of batches. I picked up one. It was like 19 bucks. It was a shop and deliver, and I didn't look at it. Old girl had two cases of water and like 9 liters of pop, and everything she got was family size. But it wasn't bad as far as the distance to take the items to and from, so I'm okay with it. Look, if it was some at an apartment, come get your order, because I'm not coming up there. Not twice carrying 2 cases. You need to get a Brita. You need to get a Brita. If you live on a 4th floor of apartment and you like your water, you like cases, you need a Brita. But yeah. So with that being said, after I dropped that one off, I headed to. Well, I looked on the app again, and there was like a slew of batches, and they were going real fast, and I seen one for delivery only. And so I went ahead and grabbed that. So that's why I'm headed to Publix to do the delivery only order. And that was about $19. And so I was trying to figure out. But so yeah, so let me tell y'all about Shipt. So today I did a Shipt order, and my shopper was not communicating with me, or so I thought. So the first time I heard from the actual shopper, she was telling me that she was picking, she used her better judgment of picking my onions, and she's done shopping. I was like, because what the items I picked was like pre-packaged, cut up produce. And so I was so confused. What you mean better judgment? And if she used her better judgment on her onions, what she did with my tomatoes, right? And then so she explained to me that they didn't have what I wanted with the prepackaged onions, and so she was getting the fresh onions. And then she went on to tell me that Shipt told her it was okay, and I'm like, Shipt don't live in my house, so what they telling you? I told you to contact me. So now I'm upset. I didn't call Shipt customer service. I'm like, yo, my shopper ain't contacting me, and she making these substitutes and saying y'all saying it's okay, and I'm not feeling that. So so the lady was apologetic, and she was like, because she's not communicating with you, I do see you asked her a question, she hasn't responded, I do see, so on and so forth. I'm like, okay. And so she was like, I'm going to give you a credit of $10. And she said, and to avoid getting this shopper again for future orders, rate her a 1 or 2. And I'm like, really? Y'all out here being bold like that? Like, what kind of mess is that? And so for me, I was like, that's just rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't respond after that to what she was saying. I was letting her know that the lady is at my house because she's asking how to get here. And so me and the lady ended the conversation. She said, well, when you get your stuff, is everything not like you want to call back, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, okay. So I get my package, and I get my order, and I had told her to remove. The issue is I wanted to make sure she removed those fresh green onions. I don't want them. And then I wanted her to verify she got me the prepackaged tomatoes with cut up. And she hadn't done that. But when I got into my bags, the green onions wasn't there, nor was and the tomatoes were prepackaged like I requested. So she was following instructions. So why would you, and the thing about it was, why They had already sent me to rate her before she even dropped off the items. And I'm like, as soon as the lady told me to rate her 1 or 2, it appeared. I'm like, dude. So, I mean, she did what I asked her to do. So I didn't see any reason to make any changes to her rating. I got so caught off guard because when I do these online orders or stuff, I use a particular card with a particular amount on it because a girl card was compromised some years ago, and she just don't be playing, online ordering people. If I can't do a PayPal, the mask anything situation, I primarily use this card. I put the exact amount plus like whatever they say they're gonna place a hold on to be able to for a particular card. So what happened was, shortly after, like, she sent me the picture, let me know she dropped 9 items off and delivered them. 10 minutes later, I received a text message, and it was, the lady asked me about the green onions. I was like, what kind of mess is this? Like, does she know I called and she's just trying to cover herself? My mind wander. Like, my scenarios be off the chain if you leave me to figure things out. At the end of it, you'll be a serial killer, and you didn't went cross country killing people in different states and their name started with the letter C. Don't let me out here thinking. So what happened was, after that message was the greeting. 10 minutes later, after that, it was her letting me know she was on her way. 10 minutes after that, it was her responding to my question. What the flipping flapjack is going on? So I felt all types of bad. So I called them, like, I don't know what's messing up. If it's my end, if it's the app, or if it's the customer. But at this point, I feel that I just don't want her to be, in trouble. And y'all shouldn't be encouraging members to rate the 1 and 2 because of a miscommunication that could clearly be a technical issue. And they out here being bold. And so if I was to follow that girl's advice, I would have been out here like being bold and putting out bad juju. It's gonna come back to me because of a mistake. And so I said, well, can you let the shopper know that there's some delay? I don't know if it's on her end, if it was on my end, or if it's on this app end, but just let her know, just so she won't get caught up today, because somebody else may follow the instructions of that person and do that 1 or 2, so yeah, y'all. And my little story is long, but I just had to let y'all know they out here being bold. And I ain't gonna run this light today. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna do it. I don't run lights because I count. 3-second rule, but it was a school bus. But yeah, so you're right. I don't know why they out so late. That's a lot of them out. Yeah, that's all I had to say. Shortly to my destination, because I've taken up so much of your time on this very, very, very dreary Monday. Probably won't hear from me again until the next time I'm out here in these streets. So, peace out. Happy Wednesday. All right, we out here trying to get another $1 on another day. And let me tell y'all, so I end up, it is sunny today because I told y'all I'd rather be tripping. It's cold, but the sun is still out. So I decided that I had a couple errands I had to run myself, So I took some time off from my 9 to 5, or I guess you can call it 9 to 5, W-2, whatever you like to call it. And what happened is I looked on Shipt, and there was 2 Shipt delivery only orders like within the next hour or so. And I was like, oh, let me go ahead and grab those because they were at the same store. And then one order was actually like literally the person lived around the corner from me. The other person actually lives 25 minutes away, and that's what I'm headed to at this current time. But when I clicked off to accept these orders and it reopened, I seen there was another delivery only in the same time frame. So I said, bet, let me go ahead and grab this one too. And the first order was 2 Harris Tea to pick up a lot of groceries. And I think that's the only downside I dislike when I have to go do delivery only, because you can't tell what's going to be loaded up into your car. But the customer that I picked up at Harris Teeter, which was near my home, they live near the store I had to pick up the 2 orders I originally picked up. So I was like, bet, I can hit this store first, drop them people stuff off, then I was going to hit the customer furthest away, and then hit the customer closest to me, because again, I have to run my errands and the stores is on this side. So then I looked and found that those stores are near the customer live further. So I decided, hey, I'll go ahead and drop off the order closest to my home, hit the person furthest away, and then go run my errands, right? Seamless, very seamless. Got to this customer house that I'm leaving around 11:30 something. I already informed the customer that I'll be, running a little bit behind, but I'll get there. And get to this customer house, and first no one answers. So I waited for about a minute or two. I walked to my car, and as I was walking, somebody opened the door. It was a young man. And I told him, I'm here for a delivery. I need to see a valid ID. He said, sure. He runs upstairs, come back down. He hands me a passport. And I'm like, wait a minute, can you take passports with Shipt? Like, I do Shipt at Instacart. It be up there meshing. I have no problem pulling up the menu right in front of this customer. Frequently asked questions. We gonna read this together, boo. We gonna, cause ain't nobody finna be deactivated for not doing what they supposed to be doing. So he was like, well, I have an ID. And I see why he was hesitant to hand me this ID. It was an out-of-state driver's license, which in the state of North Carolina, we can take the driver's license, but we can't take state IDs. So it was out-of-state, it was in Illinois, driver's license. Scanned it. He old enough. He was born in 91. Oh, dude, license expired in August. Sir, I can't take that. We can take North Carolina's, but we can't take yours. He said, well, I have a North Carolina, but it's a paper. And I'm like, well, let me see if I can take this paper with this other ID and so on and so forth. Let me call Shipt. He said, okay. He said, my mom, she's in the shower. But I'm thinking she's in the shower, taking a shower. Okay. So I was like, okay. He said, I can go and get her ID. I said, I still have to see her. So he was like, okay. So his sister's on the phone, because I guess it was something that they were giving to their mom. So sorry that the surprise was messed up, but you got to choose a little bit different. So fast forward to, I'm calling Shipt, I'm waiting for Shipt. I get someone like within a couple minutes, and oh dude, like, I'm really new to Shipt, let me get somebody else on the line that may say what. And so then that way became mom. So what I end up doing is finally the mom came, and she came out and she showed me her ID, and she had an out-of-state driver's license. It was California, but she was old enough. It wasn't expired. We was good to go, I thought. So because I was clicking in and off of this app and trying to talk to Shipt, I clicked on the wrong order, scanned and delivered to the wrong person. What? I'm like, what should I do? What should I do? So I call Shipt back. I'm like, let me tell you what just happened. Oh, my son calling me. Just a second. Son son just checking in about what he's supposed to do. I left him some directions. But back to the story. So I'm like, and so the lady was like, oh, we can fix this. So I get somebody within like a few minutes. She said, we can fix this. So I said, should I go back and scan the other lady's ID on the right order? She was like, yes. I said, okay. That's what I'll do. And so went back, pressed the button. He came back to the door. I said, I'm gonna need your mama ID again and scan and deliver it. Because I said it was an error on my part. And he was like, okay, that's fine. So he got it. She came back. She said it was just she said the timing was off. She was actually washing a dog in the tub. So yeah, so the dog came, and this, let me tell you, I don't do pets. But this dog knew he couldn't go only so far. He didn't bark, he didn't do nothing. Those are the people who never say my dog is friendly. They never say that. Because they know. They don't know what their dog gonna do. Like he may be friendly to me, he may not. The ones who be saying, he ain't gonna do nothing, he's friendly, those be the dogs that be doing all that barking and grabbing at you. So yeah, so now I'm headed here, and I hope the lady don't take her tip back, because I see she left me a tip, so I hope she'll take it back. Oh my goodness, so this is hump day, y'all. So I don't know how much I'll be, so I'm still doing my $50 a day, like when I'm out, trying to get the $250 for the week. So I'm not 100% sure if you would see me again today, just because I need to see exactly how much. I may do one or two more after I run my errands that I'm running late for. But yeah, so it's never a dull moment in a car with me. It's never a dull moment. Hey, happy Thursday. All right, so I picked up a order in the area that I was dropping off to yesterday, because I had to return an item to a store that's out here. To come to find out, after I dropped off the shipped order, that the store is closed for some known reason. I don't know. I didn't go up there. A lady stopped me to let me know that it was closed. I guess they were calling, trying to figure out what was going on. So I did look and see if there was orders in this area to pick up, and there was a couple orders that I could have picked up in this area, but I chose not to. One, because some of them was just like too heavy. Just too heavy. Yeah, and we already know how I feel about those. So with that being said, I turned on Uber Eats because I can turn on Uber Eats in this area versus I can't turn on Grubhub in this area. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna head in the direction to the area that I usually shopping in. And there was some orders, but I decided not to pick it up at this time because I want to get closer to the area, and I want to take any chances, because oh no, let me turn left right here. Yeah, because I am in an area that traffic is heavy, so I just don't want to take any chances of me taking an order that's due between 5 and 6 with the hopes that I can get to this place in enough time. So I'm gonna wait till I actually get closer to see what's going on, if I don't get an Uber Eats before then. So yeah, so that's about it. Ain't nothing more to say. If I get something, I'll come back. If I do not get anything, you know the deal. You'll see me another time. What happens when you be lazy, yeah, for the past few days, and you gotta catch up, so you gotta take whatever. This is what you gotta pick up, y'all. All this heavy crap to be able to get done for the day before 12 o'clock, so you can rest, because you haven't rested these last few days. That's all I had to say. I'll play your game today, Instacart. I'll play your game today.
order to find out what I earned for the week, we first need to know exactly what platforms I use to reach or try to reach my goal. So first was Grubhub, and I did one order for $11.80. The delivery pay was $6.65, and the tips were $5.15. The next platform was Shipt. The total earnings were $99.38. I did 6 orders. That was broken down in order pay and promo of $61.29. The tips this week was $38.09. The last platform that I earned money on was Instacart, and it was a total of $166.42. So this was broken down in 8 batches. The shopper bump was $13.69, and I'll definitely let you know where that comes from because there's a story behind it. Instacart payment was $93.13. The tips were $59.60. All right, as you can see, my total earnings for the week can be broken down in my daily earnings, and Sunday was the day that I earned most of the pay for Instacart. So let's talk about that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how I lost my bank card and retrieved my bank card all in the same day. Okay, in order to do that, I'm going to have to give you a little bit of story so you get a full context of what's going on. So let's start with, after completing the first 2 orders of the day, I knew I needed one more order to complete to reach my goal. Okay, I picked that order up at 12:09 p.m. Where I was coming from would take me, I would say, 15 or so minutes to get to the store. Okay, on the way to the store, I received a message from the customer asking if I can see if there was wine and champagne on her order because she tried to add it. She don't see it on her end. I had already scanned this order and knew that there was no wine or champagne on this, as well as I knew I couldn't add it because this was a dry grocery order, which means that there was no liquor on there. So with that being said, alcohol on there. So with that being said, I let her know that I didn't see it on my end and that I won't be able to add it. Okay. So I reached out to Instacart and was like, support, and was like, this customer is trying to add liquor. I just want clarification. We are not to add liquor to dry orders. He said, yes, we good to go. Okay. Now, this particular order was near my home. So I knew that after I finish this order, drop it off, I run to the store to pick up the few items I needed in my grocery haul and head back home. Okay. Well, after I told the lady that I couldn't add it and I turn into the grocery store, I get this notification that the batch had been removed. So I alerted Instacart. He said, let me check into it. He said, yeah, the customer rescheduled. And I'm assuming she rescheduled because she wanted to add the alcohol. So it's totally fine with me. That's when I end up picking up the batch at 12:25 p.m. And that customer was responsive. I had to call him in the store because I was making replacements to get his okay. He was fine. I had to drive to his house, which was actually, I'd say 15 to 20 minutes in the opposite direction. And when I get there, his dog was outside, and I don't do dogs. First, I didn't know he was there because he wasn't barking. I get out the car, I go to the trunk, and he's staring at me. I'm staring at him. I move faster than him, so I got back into the car. So I alerted the customer, your dog's outside. I can't drop these groceries off. Can you come call him? I have a fear of dogs. Can you come call him? So on and so forth. This dog was like surrounding my car. Then he got onto this, like, they had like a roundabout driveway. So in the middle was, I don't know what you call it, but it was like a little platform where you could I guess they plant things on. He stood on there and he started, staring me down. Like, this is my house, move. And so I'm like, I'm trying to. I just want to drop these groceries off. I contact support again. I let them know what the situation was. They were trying to get in contact with the customer via text. I went ahead and called the customer because even though the message now when I try to contact the customer says don't contact him, I just did it in his order. So I'm so confused on why those messages are there. I called and let him know. He didn't even know his dog was out. He called his dog. I dropped his groceries off. Because I was on the opposite side of town, I was like, you know what? I need to run into Michael's because if you see earlier, I went to a store to return something and the store was closed. It was Michael's. And so I said, I'm on this side of town. I'll just go up the street to the Michael's that's on this side of town and dropped it off. I'm over here, right? So I get there to go return the item. And lo and behold, what I discovered is I did not have my card. I'm like, what? Why don't I have my card? When surely I'm supposed to have my card because I had to use my card this morning when I went to customer number one's delivery. I had to do customer number one delivery. So now I have to backtrack. Where is this card at? So when I did the first batch of the day, should I say, I picked it up, and as you can see prior to here, this is all the items I had to pick up. It was a heavy order, but it wasn't just a heavy order. It was a distance order, which means that I had to travel 40 minutes to drop this customer's items off. And I didn't even realize that until after I finished. So now I'm committed. Okay, I'm familiar with the city I'm in. I'm familiar with the city I'm going in, but everything in between is no man's land. I mean, you don't want to get caught up out there. Well, 20 minutes into this delivery, I get a notification that my tire pressure is low. I'm like, OMG, what am I to do? There's a gas station. Should I stop? No, I don't, because I'm crazy. So I look and say, it's probably because it's cold. It looks like it's getting colder as I go out this way. So that's probably why the tire pressure. 5 minutes up the road, the number, it was at 28. It went down to 27. I said, oh no, something else is going on. Because of course, now I'm getting deeper into no man's land. And now I'm over here putting two and two together. I stopped at this gas station. Their air compressor was not working. Their only option was to go back to the other gas station or go forward with hopes there's another gas station, which the attendant did tell me there was another gas station, but his direction was like up the road. And if you don't know about country direction, up the road is really not up the road. So I went a little bit, like 7 minutes, and then I got to another gas station, and this particular gas station did not have, it had the air compressor. There was somebody outside blowing imaginary leaves because there was no leaves on the ground, I promise y'all. And there was one person at the gas pump. When I went to go grab the door, it was locked and it was dark. And so when I turned around, the person who was blowing the imaginary leaves says, oh, they don't open till 9 o'clock. I said, oh, okay. I said, do you have an air compressor? He said, no. I said, okay, thank you. Got in my car. Luckily, next door was Dollar General. Went to Dollar General. They didn't have an air compressor. So I had to buy an item in order to get cash back. And the cashier was so gracious to allow for me to get coins, because I know it's a coin shortage, so they all acting funny and stuff. But she didn't, because she understood I need these coins so I can put some air in my tire. All right. So that's when I knew that that's how I know I had my card. The only time I have reached into my purse to get a card was for Instacart and or Shipt, but I'm like, I did pull out my card that one time, so I ended up calling back Dollar General, like while I was searching for it in Michael's, because the young lady needed the card, so she's able to put the funds back on. So I I don't know the mom and pop shop gas station. So I called Dollar General, and the young lady answered the phone. She said, "Are you the young lady who came in earlier for quarters?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Yes, a customer found your card. It was actually in the card reader." When I looked at the footage, I noticed that I handed you your money, you grabbed the Starburst, and you went out the door. Because the thing was not making a beeping noise, I didn't hear it. She said, "I didn't hear it either." I went on and started finishing stocking up. She was stocking something up behind the counter. And so she was apologetic, but she said, "I kept praying that you would call or you would come by." She said, "Are you in town?" I said, "No, I'm actually 40 minutes away, but I'm headed there." So I had to drive 40 minutes one way, 40 minutes the back to Michael's, drop the item off, and then 30 minutes back home. I was on the road longer than I wanted to be, but I'm so grateful that that customer found my card, that it was nothing malicious happened with it. Luckily, this card was a prepaid card, so it was nothing on there at the time. So they wasn't able to, if they did take it, they wasn't able to do anything with it. But all that to say, how I went all day not knowing I didn't have my card with me, and that if I hadn't taken that fourth order, I honestly wouldn't have known didn't have my card until I went into the store to pick up the items for me and my son. And that would have been the most embarrassing thing in the world, to get there to try to pay for something, holding up the line because I can't find my card. But luckily, I have my phone, and I would have been like, "Oh yeah, let me use my Google Pay." So it was, the events was necessary for me to get what I needed. So I know you came here not for a story, but for earnings. So my total earnings for the week is $277.60. That is what I've earned inside of the app. And I'm so happy that I reached my goal of $250, even without the bumps that you see, because I received $5 bump, shopper bump for the customer I had to wait to respond with the dog. And I received $8.69 from the customer who canceled after I had already accepted and was at the location. So those are where those bumps come from. Even with those bumps, I still exceeded my goal, and I'm so happy that I did so, even though I had to drive all over North Carolina. If you're new to my channel and you would love to be part of my village, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. To all my returning subscribers, thank you for your support. Everyone hit that thumbs up so they know I'm here and more people can see my videos. Please share this with your family, your friends, and your coworkers. Peace out.